Vikern was ecstatic. He drove home clutching the 90 by 60 centimeters oil painting, unaware that in his rearview mirror, the reflection of the woman in the painting on the back seat was no longer turned away. Her neck was twisted back, staring at the nape of his neck with murky eyes and a grin that tore from ear to ear. At home, he hung the painting grandly in the hall, celebrating his free 6 million baht acquisition with wine. But that night, heavy footsteps on the second floor and the sound of nails scratching canvas began. The luck he thought was free was about to collect interest in the form of unimaginable ruin. Within days, Vikern's life collapsed. He fought pointlessly with his wife until she left with their child. The house turned ice cold, smelling of unerasable blood. His thriving career hit a wall, leading to suspension, and friends shunned him as if he were a social pariah overnight. Vikern began to lose his mind. Sleepless nights were filled with visions of a woman being dragged by masked men and ear-piercing screams. He often woke to wet footprints circling his bed, but found no one, only the woman in the painting, whose eyes now followed his every move. "It's not fate, it's this painting," he roared, researching its history. He discovered a chilling truth. Every previous owner had committed suicide. Their bodies always found facing the painting. Terrified, he noticed new shadowy figures appearing in the painting's mirror, faceless men in white masks standing behind the woman. The whispers began in his head. "You are one of them. You must pay." Vikern decided he wouldn't wait for death. He would break this curse himself. The silence in the house was replaced by a breath that wasn't his. Vikern stared at the painting, his eyes wide. The woman's eyes in the mirror were no longer just oil paint, they pulsed with a murderous glint. "If you want me dead so badly, I'll burn you and your secrets to hell," he bellowed. He ripped the painting from the wall and dragged it to the backyard under the drizzling rain. He drenched the canvas in gasoline, the pungent smell mixing with the musty odor of the old fabric. He flicked his lighter and tossed it. Wash, orange flames surged, but something was wrong. Instead of consuming the canvas, the fire coiled back toward Vikern as if alive. In the flickering heat, he saw the woman in the painting smile a grin of pure malice. Vikern's screams echoed through the neighborhood as blue-purple flames engulfed his clothes and skin. Neighbors rushed to douse the fire just before he turned to ash, but it was a cruel mercy. Vikern lay in the air with 60% of his body burned, wrapped in gauze like a mummy. His face was a raw, oozing mass of blisters. He became a living corpse, unable to speak or move, only able to roll his eyes in the dark. But the true horror wasn't the pain. It was the shadow of a slender woman at the foot of his bed every night. She was no longer looking in a mirror. She was stepping out of the darkness, slowly walking toward him in horrifying silence. In the dead silence of the ICU, Vikern lay wide-eyed beneath his blistered bandages. In the dim light, he saw a dark shadow at the foot of his bed. A woman in tattered clothes, her skin a deathly ashen gray, was no longer just standing, she was slowly crawling onto his bed. Vikern wanted to scream, but his scorched throat could only produce a gurgling rasp. She crawled until her face was inches from his. Her eyes were void of pupils, just an unfathomable emptiness. She leaned in and whispered with a voice so cold it froze his blood. "You deserve to die, all of you. Deserve to die." At that moment, the memories he had tried to bury burst forth. The secret gathering on the remote island. 12 masked men surrounding an unconscious woman drugged against her will. Vikern was one of them, one of Peter's secret circle. Namfon was their victim that night, brutally violated by them all. Namfon's spirit, born of blood, tears, and a broken mind, had haunted the painting she created. Anyone involved that night, or anyone who possessed the painting out of greed, would suffer a fate worse than death. Overwhelmed by agonizing pain and the terrifying vision, Vikern found a final, miraculous burst of strength. He grabbed a fork from the bedside tray and plunged it repeatedly into his own throat. He died struggling, eyes wide, staring into the void. The story ends with the half-burnt painting locked in a police evidence vault, but they say, in the darkness of that room, if you stare at the remaining canvas, you won't just see a woman. You will see the faces of 12 men screaming for mercy in an eternal hell.